Hello there! Welcome to English 329B, English Literature on Film in the 21st Century. I'm Dr. Joseph Byrne, and I will be your instructor. This will be the first video of a series of 12 that I'll be doing for the course, one for each of the films that we'll be looking at. This first one, I'll be talking about The Tempest, the play by William Shakespeare, and the film by Julie Taymor. I call these videos one-take videos. If you know film terms, the term take refers to an attempt to make a shot in a film. And typically a film director, will do many takes in order to get a shot that he or she is happy with. So when I say one-take video, what I'm attempting to do is do it in just one shot, and not do it over and over again and be perfectionist about it. Though I will say this is, I think, take 4, and that the other 3 versions I was trying to do through YouTube and it kept crashing. So, I'm just trying to use the video camera, and hopefully we'll be able to upload the video. Anyway, a little frustrating. Technical difficulties probably won't be the last technical difficulties we have in this course. Mostly what I want to do with the one-take videos is, offers a little more personal reflection on the books and films we're seeing, but also to talk more about the books that are the basis of the films that we're seeing, to talk about the book as a material object, and also to raise some of the problems that arise when you try to take what's in a book and put it on a screen, visually translating it. So we'll start with that, and I'll keep coming back to that in each of these videos and in the film essays that I will be posting on the course blog. Alright, let me get my notes in order here. Okay, so let's talk Shakespeare. I'm a Shakespeare nerd, and you know that because I have a portrait of the Bard, William Shakespeare. This is the Chandos portrait, one of the better ones, I think. Not to be confused with Vladimir Mayakovsky here, the Russian poet. So we'll just sort of block him out for the moment. Anyway, that's what the guy looks like. So if you're a nerd, maybe you have a Shakespeare picture on your wall as well. Let me say more about my relationship with the Bard. I guess I first encountered Shakespeare probably when I was a kid. My mom had a series of green cloth covered versions of book versions of each individual play. I think it was a Grove edition. So I certainly looked at those when I was a kid, was fascinated by them, and fascinated by this strange foreign language that was sort of similar to the language that I knew, English, but also not. In high school, I was in a Shakespeare play. In my sophomore year, we did a modern dress adaptation, stage adaptation of the Merchant of Venice. That's right. I was Antonio, or Tony, and I remember when we finally decided to, it was the big day and we were going to stage it for our class, so we went down to the theater at my school, and we got on stage, got dressed up, and did our thing. And I think I had one line, and I can remember distinctly not remembering it when it came time to actually do it. Just standing on stage, stammering. Anyway, that did not keep me, however, from joining the theater company when I was in college, and we did 2 Shakespeare plays when I was in the theater company. I was Lucentio in The Taming of the Shrew, the young romantic lead, and I was County Paris in Romeo and Juliet. If you know anything about that play, you know that the County Paris is the guy that Juliet kills herself so that she doesn't have to marry. Of course, so she can marry Romeo. You know. Anyway, not a very romantic part, but hey, somebody had to play it. Um, Now I'm recalling the terrible tights that I had to wear. No one would want to marry someone with the knobby knees I had back then. Anyway, um, I also took a college course. I was an English major, so I took the Shakespeare course, and I got a B in it. I usually got A's in my courses, but that one I had the effrontery of trying to convince my professor that Shakespeare was Catholic. He was not Catholic, but I thought it was worth a try. Anyway, the professor wasn't having it, so I got a B on that paper and a B for the course. But if you want to argue Shakespeare's Catholic or Rastafarian or whatever, you can feel free. I won't be too harsh on you. Okay. I also, well, let me just say about acting in Shakespeare is, Shakespeare is written in iambic pentameter, a particular, poetic rhythm. It's pretty hard to extemporize in iambic pentameter, so if you forget your lines, you're pretty screwed up. But I think I did pretty well when I was in college. I don't remember dropping any lines. I don't remember any of my lines, except I pine, I perish, I think, in the Taming of the Shrew. Yeah, pretty impressive. I also, in college, I had a ball cap that had Shakespeare on the cap. And I thought, well, this is cool. So, it's a literary illusion. And until someone pointed out to me that Shakespeare um, makes fishing rods and fishing gear, and that's what the hat was. So after that, I guess it was ironic. It was still a cool hat to have. Okay, now let me talk more about, I'll say a few things about Shakespeare on film. There's been many, many versions of Shakespeare plays on the big screen. And just recently I saw Laurence Olivier's Hamlet, which actually I think won the Academy Award for Best Picture in 1948, something like that. Anyway, a great adaptation. Laurence Olivier made a reputation for doing Shakespearean plays on film, one of the first pioneers of film adaptations of Shakespeare. He also did Henry V, Macbeth, King Lear, quite a few others as well. Franco Zeffirelli was an Italian director. Mostly in the 60s, he did Shakespeare adaptations, probably most famously um, Romeo and Juliet, and also he did Taming of the Shrew with Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor, a legendary production. He also later did Hamlet with Mel Gibson. Kenneth Branagh is a British actor who you may have seen in various films. He was in at least, I think, the second Harry Potter film, and he has done a number of Shakespeare film adaptations, so he sort of has taken over the mantle of Laurence Olivier. Branagh has done, well, many. He's also done Hamlet. He's also done Henry V. Quite a few. If you're interested, you can Google his name. Julie Taymor, who's directed Tempest, the version that we're seeing, has done another Shakespeare play before. She did Titus. So of her 5 films, 2 of them have been Shakespeare adaptations. So who knows? Maybe she'll do more. She's just done 5 films, so in a sense, she's really just starting out as a film director. The Tempest, another version, I think I talk about this in my film essay, Derek Jarman's Tempest, very, very experimental, even more so than Taymor's version. and I just noticed it's at Netflix if you are interested in seeing that version. So let me use the rest of the time to talk about Shakespeare as the book as a material object. This is my material object. Shakespeare is my collected edition of all his writings. So very, very small print in order to fit it all into this book. I'll show you another portrait of Shakespeare. Here's this him. This is the portrait, the engraving from the 1623 folio, which was the first collected edition of Shakespeare in print. That was after his death, but not long after. Let's see what else I can show you. This is the title page, or the table of contents from the 1623 folio edition. You'll see that the Tempest is listed first here, and it's also it's listed as a comedy. Later on, a special category was created called the romance category, which generally takes in Shakespeare's later plays. So the Tempest here, it's listed first, but in fact it was, scholars now agree, it was one of the last, if not the last, play that Shakespeare composed. Anyway, you sort of see that sort of, I don't know, elegiac a tone in the play, in terms of it's about a person, you know, in their old age looking over their life. Anyway, more on that later. More to show you. Oh, that's just the from the 1623 folio edition, the opening, the first page. All right, let me go to the play itself. So here we are. This is the introduction to the Tempest, and this is an example of the critical apparatus in terms of the things that the scholars append to the play to help you understand it better. So critical introduction, notes, table of contents, index, you know, maps, pictures, what have you. And that's all part of the critical apparatus. One key thing about that critical apparatus, as I mentioned, notes. Here we have notes here. So the notes basically help explain the play. You know, as I think I said earlier, you know, Shakespeare, it seems almost in a foreign language, even if you know English. So having the notes here, basically vocabulary, explaining the terms, and also giving some cultural and historical context are quite helpful in trying to read Shakespeare, in a sense translating Shakespeare from Elizabethan English to, you know, modern English. So the reason I bring that up and its importance, and I'll be mentioning this again, is that that's one of the differences between the literary work and the film version, is that with the literary work you can have a critical apparatus to help you understand the play, particularly in this case notes and what have you. Whereas once you translate it to the film, a visual medium, there is not that critical apparatus. However, I know I've seen some films like this. Certain stations, I think, do this. They basically, you know, have little pop-up notes as you're watching to explain things, and I suppose we'll be seeing more of that. But in the meantime, it's a key difference between the literary work and the visual medium, the film, and it's something that gets left behind in terms of the scholarly clues and hints. It's also an example of how language, which is the heart of the literary work, doesn't always translate to the film version. So I think I'll stop there. Hopefully I will be able to upload this video, and I will continue doing these videos as we proceed. So enjoy the Tempest today, and I will see you online.